DC League of Super Pets has some really great animation, terrific voice work, and fresh and fun modern takes on classic comic book characters. If only these damn animals would get out of the way! That's right. DC League of Super Pets, I think, I can't imagine, quite frankly, who it's made for, but my guess would be animal lovers. I'm not a big animal lover, to be honest with you, so maybe that's why I couldn't connect with the movie. I mean, I like animals well enough, but I've never really had a pet, and I've never really wanted one. And also, I think maybe it's for very, very, very small children, like the tiniest of children with really no attention spans, right? Because I would think that even some kids would be tempted to roll their eyes at this movie. This was rough, to use a dog pun, right? I mean, clearly, when you see the final shot in the movie, this is a very expensive pitch for a DC League of Super Pets animated series. Or, because Dwayne Johnson is known for thinking big, an entire brand of DC Super Pets. And considering how lucrative the pet business is, why wouldn't Dwayne Johnson and Warner Brothers / DC want a piece of that? I can see the merch now at your local PetSmart, right? By the way, the $7 logo animation at the beginning of this movie, very nice. I was like, that's a great logo, Dwayne. I love it. He's great in this movie. All right, so I just wish the pets in the movie were cuter. I'm not talking about Krypto and Ace, who are, well, aces. I mean, they're just fantastic. They're so well realized. They capture everything that's lovable about dogs. And Chip, the squirrel, is also very quirky and fun. But in all honesty, I found Lulu, the hairless guinea pig, PB, the regular pig, and Merton, the turtle, actually difficult to look at. And I thought it was a little suspicious that it was all the female characters in the movie. I was like, what's going on here? I mean, my kingdom for one of them to be a cat or a lizard or a bird or a rabbit, all very popular pets. I mean, I guess because Cersei turns humans into pigs, that's why they went with a pig for the Wonder Woman equivalent. But I mean, I can't believe even in just storyboarding, they were like, this isn't working. This isn't working at all. And the voice work on these characters was not good. Vanessa Bayer and Natasha Lyonne were simply not funny. And that made me sad because, I really hate it when people say women aren't funny. But boy, the case was not made in this movie. Kate McKinnon, though, she worked really hard. I couldn't quite peg that it was her until the end credits. Sometimes I was like, is it Tina Fey? And at one point I guessed Adie Bryant, who of course is Kate McKinnon's partner in crime on SNL. And I'm a big Kate McKinnon fan. She's funny. Brought tears to my eyes when she left SNL. That was an incredible, hilarious, and beautiful send-off. It was so great. I don't think I've ever seen a comedian leave SNL with such style. And I can't believe that this is one of the first things she did after she left. I mean, obviously she recorded this a long time ago, and she did a good job. She did do a good job. And she was an incredibly formidable opponent. I was like, how are you going to beat this hairless guinea pig? I mean, this is tough. But again, the design I thought was so bad and the character so unlikable that you just didn't want to spend time with her. I did not care for it. Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart, though, they are both fantastic here. Wow, they both only do one thing, but they do it so well, and always with 110%. They're so earnest. The line readings here, they're line readings. I was like, that was an incredible line reading. And then the next one would go, and I'd be like, that was an incredible line reading. Plus, the animation on both of their dogs was excellent. Again, I've never had a dog, but I felt with Krypto in particular, they got a lot of the human-dog relationship elements just right. And I also really loved Krypto's expressions. I thought all the Superman Krypto stuff was great. And they had some really fun pop culture references. That was really good stuff. And there were some good jokes with Krypto's dad, by the way, voiced by Keith David, who's having an awfully good month playing dads. He had some great jokes. Very quick, though. Diego Luna also did a fantastic job as the voice of Chip, the squirrel. As for the Human Justice League, unfortunately, most of their good jokes were already shown in the trailers. I hate when that happens. But the design work is not only really good, but really different, which is fun to see, even if they're not in the movie as much as we adult viewers would like them to be. We're like, oh, bring that back. And the world building was also really fun, from LexCorp's headquarters to a Lois Lane electronic billboard in Times Square, their version of Times Square, which had a really clever slogan for her show. I was like, that's a great slogan. I don't want to give it away. It's one of the few joys in the movie. And that's right. I was reading the signs in the background during those scenes. They had like a billboard for I think Bruce Bruce Wayne underwear or something like that. It was funny. I thought it was great. I was like, more of this, please, for the love of God, please, can we have more of that? Megamind is by far the superior take on this. Go rewatch Megamind. Oh, I miss Megamind. That was a great movie. All right, so anyway, as for the human characters here, the ones that worked best are John Krasinski's Superman. The animation is very good. I don't want to fault the animation. It's really just the writers, and I think some of the design on some of the animals and some of the voice work, as I pointed out. John Krasinski's Superman, loved him. Keanu Reeves' Batman, inspired, even though they literally showed every single good joke that he had in the trailers. And Olivia Wilde's Lois Lane, I liked her a lot. I loved Lex Luthor's design, and I love Mark Maron, but that was not a good fit. Mark Maron's voice did not work for Lex Luthor. And I also didn't love that this version of Mercy was so mean and disrespectful to Lex. I was like, do you not get the character at all? She would never do that. The rest of the Justice League looked so good and were so representative. It's a shame that they're hardly in the movie at all, especially with such big-name talent voicing them. You're like, wow, that's nuts. I can't believe you paid all those people to basically do nothing. Dwayne Johnson and his team here really did reimagine the DC Justice League as a team and a story that reflects more of what society is like today. Yet again, the representation, as is the norm usually in Hollywood these days, unfortunately, is so fleeting and shallow that it seems insincere and instead calculated, just, to check boxes. And that's too bad, because I thought if they had spent more time with these characters, it could have been something really beautiful and new. I feel that DC League of Super Pets was tough to watch, and there's no way that you could get me to watch it again. In fact, the projector broke halfway through the press screening, and we even had to switch screening rooms. And I was tempted multiple times to just make a run for it. I was like, you saw the first half. This is so bad. Maybe this is a sign. But I was like, no, you're reviewing it. You have to watch the whole rest of the movie. So I powered it out, and also I thought maybe something amazing would happen. And it didn't. It was just like what I've described for you for the entirety of the film. So that's my review of DC League of Super Pets, hitting theaters this Friday. I laugh because I can't believe anybody would pay to see this in theaters. I'm curious to see if anyone will. Really, it's made to babysit kids on HBO Max and also trick adult DC fans into turning it on with the hopes that something really cool will happen. And even though I told you nothing cool is going to happen, you're still going to watch it, I bet some of you. At least you'll fast forward through it because you just have to see for yourself. And I suspect that some people might write this off and say, oh, well, it's for little kids. But that's really disrespectful to little kids. I'm sure somewhere a little kid's like, hey, come on, I got better taste than this. But I don't know, if I were a DC executive or HBO Max executive, if they were willing to redesign some of the characters and replace some of the actors, I would consider a series. And I'd try and float out some DC Super Pets merch. I already went this far and spent this much money. Let's get it on the shelves and see if anyone picks it up. All right, so that's my review again of DC League of Super Pets. Share your own thoughts down below. Subscribe today. And of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.